Hi there, Jacqueline J here. Before I found this industry, I actually had a life insurance license more than once. I worked with Primerica and then later with another agency doing government work, but neither of those experiences really stuck with me or sat with me or connected with me because nobody ever actually educated me on what life insurance could do beyond a death benefit. So I actually let both of them lapse and then moved on. And then, like a lot of people, like the majority of people in our community, I thought life insurance was just for when somebody dies. That's all I knew. That's all I was ever taught, if you will. And then life happened. My father passed away with no life insurance, and our family had to lean on relatives and our church community to help with his homegoing services and other final expenses. A few years later, my daughter Chantal passed away, and we did have a life insurance policy on her, but even then, I still didn't understand the complete bigger picture. But looking back now, I know that if Chantal and her brother Stefan had the right policies at that time when they were younger, before they went to college, they wouldn't have had to worry about a student loan. They would have had options. And if they didn't want to go to college and wanted to start a business, they wouldn't have had to worry about a bank telling them no. But I didn't know what I didn't know because nobody ever explained it to me. And that's when I started searching for answers. So my aha moment came when I met the individual that is now my mentor and coach, who finally took the time to educate me on what life insurance is and what it can do. This is absolutely not my great grandmother's life insurance. For the first time, someone explained that it's not just about a death benefit. They showed me how it could be used while we're still living to build wealth, to create opportunities for ourselves and our families, to leave a legacy, and to help position future generations so that they can be successful. That one conversation alone changed everything. And it wasn't just the strategy that hit me, it was realizing that all the pain I'd experienced suddenly had purpose. The loss of my father, losing my daughter, being licensed in the industry and still not knowing what was available. For the first time, I understood and believed that God had been preparing me for this assignment all along. So after that first conversation, I prayed, I cried, and then started to see the bigger picture. And you know how people say that your pain becomes your purpose? For me, that's exactly what happened. The more I learned, the more I continue to learn, the more I'm convinced that this information is too important to keep to myself. I realized my assignment wasn't to convince everybody. It's still not to convince everybody. My assignment is to make sure people have access to the education they need so they can make informed decisions, not only for themselves, but for their families and their businesses. That's what keeps me going. Once I understood the power of this industry and worked with my mentor to put my own plan in place and make sure my family's protection and long term goals are aligned, everything started to shift. But at the same time, I had to be honest with myself. Working in the school system, I recognize not going to create the wealth and financial freedom that I want for my family. This industry can do that. It gives me the opportunity to not only serve people, but make an impact and build something meaningful for myself and my family. But to be honest, the biggest transformation wasn't financial. After losing my daughter, one of my prayers was simply to the Lord, please don't let me lose my mind. And today I can honestly say that through this assignment and this work, He's been answering that prayer in so many ways. I definitely don't see life insurance the same anymore. I definitely don't see it as something that's only useful when someone passes away. It's a tool. It can be used as leverage while we're still living. And then also, I used to ask the same question a lot of people ask. Why would a child need life insurance? Oh my goodness, today I understand what I couldn't see and it didn't click back then. But this journey took me from seeing, again, life insurance as a death benefit to seeing it as leverage, from seeing it as a monthly expense to understanding it can be used as a tool. And that's why I share my story. Because if someone like me, someone who had a license and still didn't know the full potential of life insurance, could have their eyes opened, then other families can too. So my prayer is simple, that more people stop looking at life insurance as just something for when we die and start seeing it for what it can do while we're living, because that's the conversation that changed everything for me.